In this video, I'd like to demonstrate a technique that I stumbled upon with a client the other day where we can quickly add wiring assembly information without having to create all sorts of wire data, without having to create nail boards, etc. So this client came to me asking, how do I create simple instructions for my assemblers to make sure that they place the wiring in the right spot, but I don't actually need the wiring in Inventor. All of that wire data was being controlled by a schematic program. So all the connectors, all of the other components, all the wires, all the wire characteristics was being controlled by another program and purchased through those outputs. So all he needed to do is produce the documentation, like a visual 3D PDF or something like that. So they place things correctly because they had some problems with cooling in some of their designs when the wiring wasn't placed in exactly the right spots. So normally when we would create a wire model inside of Inventor, we would draw wires from pin to pin, for example, and then give it the characteristics like generic, let's make it 16 gauge green, and you would create your wire. And once you connect all those pins together, then you would come in and create a segment and be able to path those wires through some kind of a harness. It works great. You get all sorts of data from that, but it can take a little bit of effort. And so what we looked at was, well, what if we just create the segment? Because I don't need the wire data. I just need the segment information. And so that's what we did. So if you look down here in the browser, there is only segment data. There isn't any wire data. There's no cable. And what's really nice about the segments is that you can use the work points to route them. So I've already done that kind of in the interest of time, but even my connector pieces have wire or have work points that allow me to quickly pass all of these segments into the right spot so it looks realistic, it actually behaves like a cord might, things like that. And then if we need to change the characteristics, because right now it just calculates it based off of the wire diameters, I can right click on the segment in the browser, click harness properties, and then down here you can give it whatever size you want. And so in this case, if I know that had to be a quarter of an inch, I can make that change. So that's a really quick and easy way to be able to just draw up some assembly without having to get into all the nitty gritty of the wiring, the routing, things like that. We just have to build and control the path of the segment, and then that would be very valid for an assembly procedure. So I hope you find this tip helpful. It's going to save the client oodles of time. They were really excited about it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, enjoy and have a most blessed day.